So, hello everyone, today I want to talk about antifragility. So we're talking about, for example, then the book from Nassim Nicholas Taleb. We're going to talk about, of course, the book, which is a very, very good book as well, Haidt and Lukianoff, which is about the Coddling of the American mind. This is two very, very good books, and this video will be about mental health, right, a little bit, fragility, deniability, mentality, and so on, right? Basically the mind stuck thing, and I'm gonna say a quick way. I love this image here describing anti-fragility. So fragile, right? You break, someone critiques you, and you cry, and you lose whatever, right? Resilience, like the phoenix. Someone beats you down, you stand up again, right? You're reborn, right? The phoenix. However, though, if you're anti-fragile, it means you actually get stronger, right? So you learn from your mistakes, you get more powerful. The typical step is the immune system. If you get sick, you get resilient to that sickness, right? So the HYDRA then. So I love the image here because the HYDRA is a very much anti-fragile, right? You cut one head off, two head grows upright. So with the phoenix, you get equally strong again. The HYDRA gets stronger and stronger. Unfortunately, though, today most people are anti-fragile, right? I really like. I said immediately. I link the links below for this video, right? For Haidt on your Rogan show. It's a very, very good episode. I think I like a lot of your Rogans. I can admit that, yeah, of course. Who doesn't, right? But when Haidt is there, Haidt talking about antifragility, I leave a clip for a specific one. It's really, really good. He explains it a lot better than I can. Of course, it's his field, right? I'm not really spend that much time on this field of psychology, right? But why I do this video? Well, it's kind of like. So basically, right, a few days ago I had just a few comments, right, with a person on Twitter, and that made him go and delete his whole channel. Basically, he did like 95% of his videos, right, and that to me is crazy, right? And I really mean that, because like I am a really good keyboard warrior, right? I'm like yeah, and I really want to say it immediately, right? I only wrote like 10 or so tweets, and I write very, very fast. Okay, I'm a very, very fast typer. I have this like spicy little keyboard. No, but I write very, very fast, like very fast. And this is it. I write very, very, very fast. And I really mean that. So my record is that I can write 26 pages in 1 hour. That's where I am, if I know what to write, right? So when I said, 10 tweets, right? That's like a minute for me. It's like a minute of work for me. And I really mean it. I don't mean to brag or something. I'm saying that with this incredible, and I really mean that, incredible little effort from my side, right? It's like, bam, and it's done, right? Yeah. This guy went and like mental destroy my own channel. He made a 2.5 hour live stream and talking about me a lot of times in this live stream, and then in another video talking about me as well. Never say my name, but referring to me over and over again. It's like, I wrote like 10 tweets to you, man, and a few YouTube, like 3-4 YouTube comments. So a few tweets created this person's like a mental breakdown, right? Let's be honest here. I don't say it to me. I'm just saying like from a psychological aspect, right? I was like, what the hell is this, right? And the tweets I wrote were in like this kind of level, right? I mean, I didn't say any bad words. I just said like, where's evidence for that? This is suspicious, right? So basically, it's like, why can't you? I even misspelling the word specific there. Yeah, like, show me a specific video. Don't make this fluff, disprove me or prove me, yeah. And just a few tweets like this, right, where I'm questioning the logical standpoint that this person has, right, makes him go like this, right? And it's immediately like, bam, his life is over. And that's not good, man. So I want to segue that, right, into talking about then again anti-fragility, and also a little bit about mental healthness, denial stuff, and so on, right? So it's I think it's interesting. Not really my field, but I have read, of course, for example, the Haidt book, right, which I think again is a really good book, and I read, of course, the Taleb's book, the Antifragile book, which the coin comes from, and it's a really interesting concept because it means basically that. If someone beats you up, right? If someone, you get stronger. As I mentioned, the HYDRA, I like that analogy. You cut your head off, you get 2 new heads, right? So basically, someone punches you, you lose the fight, you go home, you train, you get stronger, you come back again, right? And you can defeat them, right? Kind of like a short main character, right? A little bit like that. But there's a lot of interesting concepts in that, mainly from, that we coddle, as the book done, right? We coddle people too much these days, and that means that they can't really handle, critique and so on. So that's kind of why I kind of segue into that, because, and I really mean this, right? So he got this video, this live stream. I was like, what the hell? This is the effect after a few tweets. Like that is. I mean, again, I'm a pretty good keyboard warrior. I'm not that good of a warrior, or am I? Oh my god, no! It's like I'm not that good of a warrior. I'm just like, this doesn't make this breaks logic. Yeah, like a few tweets, right? And so I called some friends. I talked about some people, right? Called my ex-girlfriend that she has a PhD in a close field to this psychology and so on. Talked to her for a few hours. I was like, man, I never seen anyone having this massive effect from a few internet tweets, right? And you have to think about it too, that I never even interacted with this person before those YouTube comments and tweets. Like a few YouTube comments, like 4 or 5, and then 10 tweets. Like, and they're not even that well written tweets in my opinion. It's like, this is my point. Yeah, it's like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, it's like, man, it really makes you think that. So I'm gonna give you the story here, and I feel like to give you the story, right? Kind of the premise, and explain why and so on, and how he's still doing illegal stuff though. So I think you have to point it out. I don't really care about that too much, honestly, because I don't want to gloat and so on, but because he did call me out, right, for like 3 hours, almost, like 2.5 plus another 15-20 minutes, I feel I have to not really defend myself, because nothing he said actually has any effect on me, because he didn't even this doesn't. But I commented that too though, because I have to do that, because I have to talk about being in denial, right? And even when he's doing exactly what I said he should do, he still is denying that he's doing what it's really weird. So he still hasn't really learned. Right? It's just really, it's a really weird thing. So I get almost worried more when I see that, more than actually being like angry. I'm like, that doesn't seem healthy at all. And I really mean it. And I can understand a lot of people. Most people that probably see this video, right, are going to be fans of this person and hate me. Oh, this guy, yeah, dislike it. But if you actually, and as I explained in my Salou video, right, we talk about 1 in 1,000 of people are really, big fans, right, of one person. So of course this guy has gonna have like at least 30 or so really big fans, right? And you all gonna hate me. That makes sense from like a logical standpoint, right? From like a psychological standpoint, yeah, it makes sense. But if you really like this guy, shouldn't you listen to me instead? Because what I said, and I know it's hard, right, because you hate me, but he's clearly still in denial, right? And that is very unhealthy. And I really mean it. I mean it from like a genuine standpoint. That was because he talked about in his first video, the one that I was critiquing, that he has like, oh, I feel so bad and so on. And I said, well, if you feel bad, why haven't you changed it? Why are you lying about everything? So you asked for redemption, but you're still lying about everything you did, right? And you're still doing it, so you're still in denial. And then after you changed what I did, you're still denying that, what I said was right or whatever. You're denying that, so you're still in denial, which is very unhealthy, right? So I want to talk about that too. So let's just give you the short thing. And the thing is that it's a pretty short story, right? So basically this person, right, he has a YouTube channel, right? And I mean it here for that point, if you're going to talk about legality here, he admits in his own video that this is his second or third or whatever channel, so he's not even allowed to have that channel. So from that aspect too, he's deleting his videos to be safe from YouTube's wrath, but he's also admitting in the same video, when he's streaming, deleting the other channel in the episode, he's saying that I lost a channel, blah blah blah, this big, a year, like 2-3 years earlier. So he's admitting in the same video where he's saying that I'm doing this so YouTube can't go after me. He's also admitting that YouTube can go after him because YouTube can actually delete the channel at any moment, because he's admitting that he is breaking terms of service by having another new channel after you got banned once, right? So he's admitting that, which is very, very strange from a logical standpoint. Why are you admitting your own mistake there? It is very, very strange. But anyway, I digress on that point. The basic story is just a guy, illegal anime clips, right? Just put up the whole anime, doesn't really do a good reaction, just sits there. Of course, he talks more to Salou, but it's kind of the same thing, right? It's a Let's Watcher. In my last video, I discussed, the 8 different kinds of, anime creators, right? He's the one that used to Let's Watch, and it's very, very low quality, right? From his standpoint, he's showing the full anime. He's way worse than Salou in that sense, right? Way more illegal than Salou is. And also why I did it, I think it was a really bad point when people were saying this guy has changed and so on, but this is way worse than Salou. So he's doing that stuff, right? And basically all his views are from, illegal anime content, right? So he then was, he got a lot of copyright strikes right over the years, claims. He did a lot of restrictions. He broke the law, yada yada. So whatever. So last year he got in this big dispute with one of the companies, right? And that made that company go after other companies because he provoked them and he talked to them. It's a really big mess. Basically, he indirectly caused a lot of other people to lose their channel and get strikes and so on, right? And he, never apologized for that. He just moved on and laughed at that, basically, right? More or less, right? I moved on, as he wrote to me in the comments. I don't care about it anymore. And then, unfortunately, he was used by Rachel Mess and so on as an example of a person that has changed. No, but he didn't change because he saw that he was wrong. He changed because he was forced to change or lose his channel again, right? That's why he changed, not because he actually wanted to change. So that's a little weird, aspect too. He didn't change because he wanted to change. But anyway, he didn't actually change because he kept all the other videos on the channel, more or less, right? He kept his biggest black buttons on the channel, and the only time he seemed to actually remove illegal content was when he got a court claim or a strike. Then he would remove the other ones around that, right? So he actually kept all the illegal stuff that kept, endangering his channel, right? Of course, but also everyone else's channel, right? So in his video, then he says that he's changed, he's redeemed, and so on. And I'm like, everything's a lie here. And then it's ads. It's ads on every channel, on every video you have. It's ads on them. So and so on. So you just claim that I never monetize anything. But why is every single video has ads? That every single video, you didn't get claimed on every video. it's ridiculous. So there's a lot of lies there, right there. A lot of lies. So I just called that out as I see it, right? I was like, man, you haven't changed at all. You're still keeping 400 or 500 videos on your channel that are all illegal, and you're still pulling in your money and chains and subscribers and only to that point, right? You haven't changed, and you're denying everything of possibilities, and you're also omitting so many facts in your video. The video is horrible. So you just lie, right? So I just called it out Twitter, right? I was like, man, everything you said here isn't true. And the point here that it makes is that back to the anti-fragility, right? And critiquing my coming too soon here, is that I had 20 bombs, right? 20 arguments against you, right? Because I have this argument, I have this argument, I have this argument, and the first argument, the first bomb, he couldn't diffuse, and that made him have a mental breakdown. From the first bomb, right? So I had 19 other. I had more proof. I had more stuff. Yeah, we haven't even gotten into the details, right, of what is actually. Yeah, we have just gotten to the tip of the iceberg of my critique against you, and that made you, oh shit, I can't handle it. So obviously that again, right, comes back to the whole, anti-fragility, yeah, because I have 20 massive, critiquing points for you, and you get one of them, and that's enough for you to cave in. Yeah, that is strange. Okay, so I want to talk about that, right? That's what I was thinking about. How could it be so easy for me to win that? And I have to also talk about some logic, right? Some arguments, because I do this for a living, right? I debate, I argue. It's a big part of my life, right? And this is a little, other point here, but I have to make it a feel because it's in discussion, right? So it's I have a hard time understanding why people do bad lies. And I start by saying that, even though I'm supposed to be this human behavioral expert, I have a hard time understanding people doing bad lies. I understand good lies. I understand you want to trick someone, you want to get some advantage, right? That's fine, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying it's the right thing to do, it's unethical, but I understand it, like you were doing it. But I never saw people doing bad lies, and I think that has to be with relatability and empathy and so on. But so that might be another video. But I have to say that here, though, that a short note on the story here, right? He's trying to trick me with his incredibly bad lies on Twitter, and as soon as I am no, that is clearly not true, right? And I'm like, nope, you can't. Yeah, you can't fool me with this very, very simplistic lies. It just makes you look more, guilty for what you're saying, right? And immediately then he caves in. So that comes again to the antifragility. And what I mean is that he can't handle any critique. Right? He's doing this illegal stuff, right, for 7, 8, whatever, for many years. No one ever really called him out on his bootstrap, even though, the companies did. He got copyright strikes, community strikes, he got shit all the years, right? Ignoring that, in denial, right? But I guess no one really talked to him. And it comes back to that, for example, that, Haidt talks about, I feel, that he's probably been cuddled, right? And I don't mean that as an insult, I just mean this, he unfortunately exemplifies what a lot of people is today, right? And I really mean that, kind of like my other video, I talk about this comment about Yu-Gi-Oh! and PewDiePie exemplifies the not understanding that people are different, not understanding the different user demographics in anime, in gaming, and so on culture, right? As I did my last video about. This guy instead, and I don't want to make the video, you know, oh, this guy's so wrong, but to talk about that mentality is that he exemplifies anti-fragility. Because my guess then, so this actual, you know, the video is supposed to be about, is that the first person to actually critique you, right? There again, we never interacted before. The first person to actually, for once, critiquing you on your bullshit, and then immediately you lose. As soon as you lost the first, you know, argument, you couldn't handle it, right? That problem comes from probably growing up never having the issue, right? So I don't say this guy in particular has the issue, but unfortunately, a lot of people have the issue, right? Especially then in first world, right? It's a first world problem. Because if you're living, I think it's a big thing, right? Because if you're living in a much poorer country, right, and you have to fight to survive, basically, right? You have to work to get food and so on. You don't get that, you know, shit happens and you have to move on, right? But when you live in, I think it has to be with a little bit today's society, right? In the West mainly, right? You are so damn cuddled, right? Again, read Jonathan Haidt's book. It's a very good book about the cuddling of the American mind. Incredible good book. Just about this topic. I can't recommend, I should read both books, Antifragile too, but I can't recommend it more because it's like you read this book and you're like, it is exactly a lot of issues that people have with snowflakes and SUVs and so on, because they can't handle people having a different opinion, right? They can't handle that people are saying something that they are not agreeing with. And as soon as they get counter evidence, they're like, oh shit, my brother said, yeah. And I want to talk a little bit about my personal, you know, side, right? I am the opposite. I am the HYDRA. No, I am the HYDRA bonus, because in my whole life, the thing I always enjoyed, whatever I do is critique, okay? I don't want people to just go, oh, you're fat and ugly, or yeah, that doesn't happen, that's not a real critique, right? But and actually, I think appearance critique, if someone said, you cut your hair and get a job, yeah, I mean, in a way, but I like this mad scientist look with long hair, so I kind of like that. But it's kind of about, yeah, that's another video, but it's kind of like, I always want people to critique my ideas, my solutions, my conclusions, right? And my designs, or whatever, right? And what I hate the most, for example, when I worked on this platform game, like, 13 years ago, this is I'm old, 13 years ago, I designed this platform game, right? All the level designs, all the, you know, the jumping and so on, the platform game. It's a pretty good game. And when I presented most of my levels to the team, right, I was like, here's the maps, I've done them, what do you guys think? Everyone's like, wow, that's really well done, okay, great. Let's put them all in the game and let's move on. And I was like, but no one can say this is bad. I hate it, right? I don't want people to just accept what I'm saying, right? So if you watch this video, I would love your, you know, if you have your opinion, a critique, or what his mentality actually is, right? Talking about antifragility, I would love that. That's what I really want. I want people to actually, you know, discuss the thing, right, and really go to the bottom of it, right? I'm always that guy that I don't want to go into a meeting at work or whatever, right, and just have everyone agreeing, right? I want people to actually say, this thing, yeah. Even if they actually do agree with me, I want someone to actually pretend, you know, David's advocate and pretend to disagree, so I have to prove my point of disagreeing. Well, you say that, so because then you know that the product actually works, right? So if you have an idea, right, or whatever, and you present it, and a lot of people, you know, attack you for it, right, and you defend the idea, and you manage to defend the idea, then you know that the idea is great because they couldn't break it down, right? So I'm always looking for that HYDRA life. I'm looking for that antifragile life where I get stronger or my ideas get better because everyone keeps, you know, giving me feedback or critiquing my ideas. And then I have to either change my idea, right, or have to, you know, improve my idea, or I can determine and say, no, what you're saying is illogical, so my idea is correct, yeah. So that's what I'm looking for, right? I'm looking for the opposite, right? So that's my personal standard here, right? But when I see this guy, and I thought that a lot of people in life, right, it is very, very strange because people are so afraid of that. People are so afraid of being actually questioned and being actually not just being questioned, but also questioning what they have been told, right? And I don't want to, you know, mudsling all over the place, but it's kind of the same thing with even recommending him as a change channel to begin with, right? As I made in my other video, that's a little bit like, but if you did any kind of research on this person, not just the most superficial face value, you see his video, everything is a lie, right? But if you actually look at the video and say, this doesn't make any sense, because I can look at your channel and what you're saying here is not, corresponding to what actually reality is, right? But unfortunately, most people, and I see a lot of people who hate me here because maybe I'm calling out on this thing, but most people, unfortunately, just take what is face value in that, right? And then don't actually question what is behind the thing, right? Because it's very, very easy to disprove what he said in his video, or what other people said about him before his video, right? It's very easy to disprove what people said. It took me like a minute. So, and that's what I mean too, with the whole situation too. In like a minute, I could disprove what you said so easily, and that made you cave. I didn't have to go further than that. It's like, I had so much more proof against you, it's like, what? But I think it's very interesting, and I think it's very, not just for this guy personally, but for everyone on the site, right? You need to question stuff, and you need to live getting critique. You need to fight and get stronger, right? That's very, very important in life. And a lot of people are gonna claim that you don't know my life, but honestly, don't give me that bullshit, don't give me the deniability. I know most people don't have a very hard life. Not in a hard life in actual being challenged, right? You don't. You might be poor and so on, and that's bad, right? You're challenged in that aspect. But do you actually want people to critique you and so on? You don't. So you don't actually want to improve that stuff. So it's I'm not saying in course that everyone's this. I'm not saying that you specifically are like that. But a lot of people just wanna, live life, go to work, go home, sleep, that's kind of, they just wanna be the cogwheel in the machine, right? And one thing I wanna specify here too, that's very important in this aspect, is also studying, right? So one thing you see with a lot of people, for example, with physics or chemistry, whatever, psychology and so on, or human health and so on, is that they don't question what they're reading. It's kind of the same thing there, because you don't want to have, I think it's kind of a similar thing, and I have studied this thing, this is more in my field of studies, that people, when they learn stuff, they don't actually want to learn them, they just want to like pass them, right? So they have like, here is a physics exam, okay, I'm just gonna study for the physics exam, but they don't want to learn physics. That's a big difference, right? And one thing that you can see then, coming back again to the anti-fragility, is that people are not even questioning what they are reading in the book, right? And what I mean is that most people, when you have a physics book, right, you just accept that this is the formula, Newton, okay, I'm gonna go and do the exam. But when I get a book, if it's like here, I'll be like, why did Newton say this thing? Why did he say this thing for? Does it make any sense? So I would always be questioning and, arguing against teacher, or against Newton or whatever. I'm like, nah, I don't believe this. Yeah, so I would always be that guy, right? Always being critiquing whatever book I'm reading, right? And that's great, because if I am critiquing this physics book, and the other person or the book itself or the research around it, can prove that I'm wrong, right? Then I can be like, okay, it makes sense. Then I can trust in that physics, and then I actually know the physics better than other people, because I actually trust it, I actually believe in it, right? I haven't just accepted that it is the truth. I actually truly believe in it. Instead of just doing it, I actually believe what I'm doing, right? Which makes it, better and stronger. That's one thing. But it also makes me, that instead of just believing it and, accepting it, I'm looking at all the different facts around it, right? And it makes me actually understand the physics in a lot grander scale, right? So I actually a lot more free with my mind, that when someone asks me a question about physics that I don't have exactly heard before, I might be able to figure out the answer, where unfortunately most people in the society, they can just do the exact question they were taught in school, right? But they can actually extrapolate that to something else, because they haven't been questioning, they haven't been critiquing the material, they just accepted what they got. So you can only do what they got, right? So I think that mentality comes back to that, right? Which is very important to have in this, be the HYDRA, wanna grow, right? Yeah. Challenge yourself, and so forth, right? There's been a lot of stuff like that, right? It's just, when I see this thing, I'm just like, man, you shouldn't just, and this is more directly then, but why would you, lose after a few tweets? Even if you're wrong, right? Even if you're wrong, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't never accept you're wrong, of course you accept that you're wrong, but if someone proved me wrong in a few tweets, I would be happy, I'd be like, yeah, it's great, he's right, how can I improve, right? I wouldn't be like, yeah, I'm gonna, go cray, yeah. It's just kind of, and it wouldn't take me like a few hours to do it. I would be like, I have to think about this thing. I would have to consider the facts here and what does it mean and so on, right? And so on. And I would say this thing, not being salty, right? But if I actually had someone interacting with me and they made me change my opinion so heavily, I would actually admit to that. So that's kind of coming to that field of in denial, right? So when I see these guys tweets and so on, right? I see these guys like Facebook Constable. I think they're interesting because he was still in denial here, right? So he wrote like, I have moved on, right? I struggled with my health issues and I moved on. But he hadn't actually moved on because he kept all the illegal stuff on the channel, right? They kept bringing in the views and money and so on, right? He kept having that on his channel. And he still say he's moved on. So it's like, you haven't moved on. And it's the exact same thing then, what he's talking about, as I mentioned earlier, these other people that praised him, right? He's like, oh yeah, they praised me, they're right. And he refuses to give, any of me, because he's angry and I understand the emotional heaviness of his heart, right? But you have to think about from an aspect of that is still being in denial. That's still being, and it's very dangerous, right? A lot of people have a denial issue where they're like, when I write a book, I have a great book idea, right? And then they never start because they always say, well, I'm gonna do it tomorrow. But tomorrow is raining, so I want to do it. But next day it's sunny, so I want to be outside instead. And they never actually do it, right? Yeah. And that's like, unfortunately, how most people live their life. And this guy then, he basically claimed, they kind of denied it. He claimed that he changed, right, from like a year ago, but hasn't actually done anything more or less during that year, right? And he's like, oh, it takes so much time to remove my videos. Like a 3-minute work. You go in and delete it, yeah. It's not harder than that. It's not harder than that. Go in. Every video is the same title, search for that, delete them all, Like, it was like a minute. But he's like, oh, I can't do it because work and I have another diet right now. And it's just denial after denial after denial, right? So, not really antifragility, but another issue, right? The people keep postponing what they should do, right? Yeah. But interacting with me and I'm calling out that bullshit, I'm like, but you're constantly in denial and you're lying with everything. And he's like, God damn it. And he kind of actually changed, right? So I kind of come to that point. But during that thing, then he's still denying that he's changing. So it's very particular. It's very particular. But I think that again, it actually has the combination, right, of having to do with anti-fragility. Because as I mentioned, when I am wrong, which I never am, but whenever I am wrong, and I know okay I'm wrong here, I will always admit it immediately, and I really mean it. And I say to anyone that sees video, which probably is gonna hate me because I'm calling out this person, right? But as generally, but I'm trying to teach you some psychology, right? Hopefully, I am always saying when I'm wrong immediately. I never, that is true strength. Telling you guys that is true strength. If someone calls you out and they disprove what you were saying, or disprove you should always admit to that. That is strength. And if you're gonna be a good leader, and I am a pretty good leader, no, but like I always been a pretty good leader. People respect me as a leader when I've been working different sports, so on, right? A reason why is because I always, I always, admit my mistakes. I'm like, well, I was wrong last week. Yeah, I was wrong. Yeah. You don't want to be a bad leader and always be. That's one thing, no. But it's like a side point. But if you're a leader, right, you're a boss of some company, and you're wrong all the time, yeah, then you maybe can't admit it because you're really bad. But then you probably shouldn't be the boss to begin with, right? Yeah. So if you're wrong all the time, but let's assume you're wrong, once every 10th time, right? You have some idea, 9 of them works out, the 10th one is horrible, and that's kind of like your, win ratio. Then you should admit it every time because people will respect you more for that. If you have the confidence, right, to say that I was wrong that time. I was wrong last week. I should listen to you. You had a better idea. Let's do your idea instead. That inspires your teammates. It inspires your people working with that to listen to you more, and then people have more respect for you because you're like, yeah, he's actually thinking and considering about his ideas and solutions because he's able to admit he was wrong that week, right? He's able to admit he was wrong that time with that play, with that strategy, and now he's then probably improving, right? People are gonna see you improving and so on, right? That's why that 2.5 video live stream in this case then, with this guy, right, crying all out and, this guy and denial, oh no, but he didn't change me, I didn't that guy, is a horrible in deniability, right? Because you don't want to improve, right? Even if you change your stuff, you don't actually truly believe in it. Because if you truly believe in it, you would admit that you were wrong and I was right. And I mean it from a health aspect. Obviously everyone watched this video probably so far knows that I am right here. Otherwise, why would you go into this video? Yeah, I probably knows I'm right. You can check my Twitter. There wasn't that many comments, and so you probably agree with me at this point, right? But it's way better to admit that you were wrong, and then you can actually truly move on. If you never admit that, you actually can't move on because you're gonna be in denial, right? So, but as I mentioned, that I think it's very important again to emphasize that kind of mentality it has to do with the anti-fragility, right? Because you're afraid of being a critique. You're afraid of being wrong, right? I am not afraid of being wrong. I like being wrong. I like losing. Kind of like I play like a fighting game, right? I play a lot of fighting games, right? I love fighting people that are better than me, right? The worst thing is to always win constantly. It's really annoying. You want to fight people that are better than you, so you can learn how to defeat you and get stronger, right? You want to lose, but admit that you suck and defeat them, right? A similar case. I played a lot of StarCraft 2 in my life, right? Comparatively, and a lot of people, they can't really grow in StarCraft 2 because they can't watch the replays. So a lot of people when they play StarCraft 2, they play this RTS game, right? And it's very, very hard. It's a very hard game. It's a very stressful game. And when you lose that game, you can watch a very good replay by Blizzard that can show you everything that happened. And all good players, basically, they will watch the replay, right, and study, I was wrong there. 30 minutes in the game, I did this mistake. Okay, next time, I will remember that, right? But a lot of people in the lower brackets, you talk to them, because I done this issues, right? They always say, I can't watch my replay, it makes me cry, it makes me sad. I don't want to, see myself losing, right? Yeah, so they don't want to look at their own defeat, right? Which is understandable. It takes some strength, some fortitude, right, to be able to actually see your own mistakes, and not just mistakes, but also you see yourself losing, right? It's not that easy, right? But anyone that's good in StarCraft 2 will tell you that they watch the replay all the time when they're losing. When you're winning, maybe, but losing, that's the replay you want to see, right? You want to study, what did I do wrong there? That being said, though, even if you win, you usually rewatch them too, because you want to study, was I right? I mean, I won generally, but I wasn't sure what I was doing at minute 12. I had to see, the full again, yeah. So you want to do that as well, right? But especially do you want to study your defeats, right? To see, why did I lose here? And a lot of people do this in every sport, right? But I think in this kind of game, it's very important because you have all these data values, you have these research values, you have these curves. So it's a very good game because it really offers you a lot of data to study your own issues, right? And then you have to look at that if you truly want to improve. Not only in that sense, though, you can improve in other ways too, right? But there's a great way to be able to analyze why did I lose. But it takes a set of mentality to be able to do it, and that's a huge schism then when you look at StarCraft 2 players or StarCraft 1 players, you look at these RTS players, right? Who almost none of the low rank players have that fortitude to look at their own losing games, right, and have to experience the defeat again, right? And it's a winner mentality kind of thing, right? But it also comes back to, because it's basically you're gonna look at this thing, right, that's gonna critique you. This thing is gonna tell you, you suck, you suck, you suck, and you have to be like, I have to go through this, I have to learn, I have to get stronger, right? But being told that I am a loser, right? And it's very, very important. So there's a lot of stuff for that, right? And I think that still, and why he's so, and I really mean it, right, really exemplifies antifragility, because you can't take any, real criticism, right, any critique, and after you still, for the critique, you're still denying that the critique changed you, still denying the critique, so you still have the critique in your head, and so on, right? So it's an interesting issue, it really is. But anyway, let's go on a little bit. I want to say some other stuff, right? So I'll talk about actual argumental techniques, right? A little bit here, it will be a side note, but I think it's interesting from a logical standpoint. Just we talk about logical arguments, fallacies, and so on, right? I'm a huge guy when it comes to fallacies, authority fallacy and so on. But for example, he's defending himself, which doesn't make any sense. So authority fallacy, right, is when you say, no, but I have this thing, right? I have this PhD, you don't have it, you can't be right. Yeah, it's a horrible way to argue, and I hate it, right? And for example, we see it in this whole issue with Susie Lewis, and the whole racial message to one, because basically, I work in this anime industry, so I can't be wrong. It's kind of like that, how she, I'm very, very simplifying it now, but everyone around that video are using the video as this person is clearly right about everything but anime, copy, and so on. But she really isn't. That's top of all the videos. She has no idea when she talks about the actual anime fan, right? Yeah. So just because you work in X thing doesn't mean you actually have the understanding of the consumer, right? And actually it makes sense because she's working in this field, but the field is huge, right? And it's a lot of different parts of that field. So why would that person have the expertise in every part of that field? I'm not saying she claimed that. I'm more saying that people around her claim that, right? So it's a really weird thing. And when I have a discussion here with with this guy right on Twitter, a few tweets, he's trying to use like, I have more videos than you, or views or whatever, and it's like kind of implying that. That's not an argument. You can't say that, you know, I am not wrong, or it's so much work, you couldn't understand. That's not how it works. You can't just argue that thing. And I mean, as I said in my other video, then I could easily argue and say that, oh, but I have a degree in this thing, so why you can't win? Yeah, like that wouldn't make any sense, right? If my argument was that, well, I have a higher education than you, or my IQ is higher, or whatever, yeah, so you can't be right, and I can't be wrong. That's a horrible, you know, call to authority fallacy that unfortunately you see a lot of people doing, especially with degrees. A lot of people like to throw the degree out like it actually is an argument, right, for them being right or wrong. It's like, you can't be right because I have a math degree, you don't, so my math is correct. It's like, but your math is wrong. It's like, it doesn't matter if you have a degree in math. If your math is wrong, your math is going to be wrong, right? So that's one thing I want to mention here, because that's probably, I think this is the most common, I would say, internet fallacy, authority fallacy, right? You're referring to that thing. But otherwise, one thing that I mentioned earlier then, which I don't understand, is why would people lie when it's so easily exposed to lie. So I have to give an example here, right? And I think it's kind of funny when he's doing this stuff, and I think it's ridiculous. But here is that all his videos were monetized, right? All of them were monetized. And why it's true that they might all be claimed, right? So the right holder actually get the money. But it's suspicion to question that all of them would be, you know, all of them? Like, you immediately like, I don't know, man. You have like 500 videos and all of them are claimed. I mean, I understand you have a lot of claim, and he showed like a stream there because, yeah, you do a lot of illegal stuff, but it's like, all of them? Is that? So, you can be a little more in the case to them. So this doesn't make any sense, right, from that aspect. And it's also surprising that his biggest videos also have the most, of course, you know, yeah. But what I said then on Twitter, and this was kind of the first, you know, argument of 20, right, or at least 20 arguments, is that, well, if you have claim on this video, just prove it, right? Just prove it, because you can very easily go to your YouTube studio, right, and pick up the specific video. You have the name, Black Battle, whatever, yeah, you have the name, you have the video, you have second videos. You just take the video out and show us that on Twitter then, or whatever. Show us, so preferably you will show it, of course, in a live stream so you can't actually edit it. But let's assume you are not lying. Just take a photo, an image, right, of the actual video, right. It's not more harder than that. It shouldn't be harder than that. It shouldn't be harder than that. So I'm talking about here, right, is really bad argumental technique, right? Because I am asking him that, why is this specific video monetized, right? And instead of showing us, on Twitter, right, in the open media here, showing us that this video is, you know, claimed by the right holders, right, which they have the court, his video is completely illegal, so they have all the right to do that. Instead, he shows these two images of other claims, right? I get blah blah, yeah. And it's another video. This is another video, right? This is not the same video. And that makes you wonder, right? So what I mean with that is that, you know, I don't have the 100% proof that this video is claimed by this. I mean, I could ask, I guess, the, you know, the company that owns the stuff and so on, and like, get it up. I mean, I suppose, right? But I would answer, yeah, it's like a mess, right? So I don't have the 100% proof that that he's claiming this own video, right? I don't know that, yeah. But I have the suspicion that it feels weird that every video you have is monetized. Every damn video is probably not claimed by the company, right? Yeah. So the first argument here is that, is this video, your most popular video, is it claimed by the company or is it claimed by you, right? Or, you know, do you get money for it? And to disprove that, right, he would have to just show the demonstration of that specific video. That would be the way to win that argument, right? And he would win, and I would say, yeah, you're right, okay, let's move over to argument 2, right? But clearly, as thought about, we never even got there, right? Because he would never even get that far, because he refused to even try to do that, right? And of course, from hearing that, you become very suspicious. You're like, well, why wouldn't you do that? And instead of doing this thing, he spent a lot of time showing other videos, right? Look at this video, it's not monetized. Look at this reel here. And it's like, why don't you just show me the actual video? Why are you trying to show me other videos, right? And the thing is that, and why I really want to talk about this in here, is that segues again, right, into how to lose an argument, right? Because it's like, again, I don't actually have the 100%, certain evidence that you are lying about things. I just have this very, very likely, who that you're lying. I don't know it for a fact, but I assume it's true, and it seems very likely. And anyone looking into the facts and the fact I do have right would be like, yeah, it looks very, very suspicious, right? And he could either have ignored me, right, and not answer right, or he could have, disproven me. But what he's doing instead, by showing other videos cut out, right, half the mail and sneaking in a little bit there, that makes you look incredibly guilty. That makes you look more guilty. Because before, let's say I was 80% sure that he's lying about that. I was like, I'm 80%. It's like, why are you showing me the wrong clip? Okay, 90% now. Why are you showing me a reel? You recorded some kind of freaking movie in the sense that's now 99% sure that you are lying, right? It's like it increases the likelihood of you lying. Every time you do that thing, you look more and more suspicious. So that's a kind of fun thing too. It's like, have the discussion here, Jesus Christ, the more he defends himself, the more guilty he looks, right? Why are you even trying to defend yourself? It makes it look worse, right? And that's also probably why he immediately, surrendered on the first topic, because he's like, man, and given this topic then itself, you can see here, right, that I am clearly, of course I'm right, because my suspicion is incredibly probably true, because why else would he keep doing everything around it, trying, beat around the bush, instead of just providing the counter claim. And the thing is that it takes less time, and he argued that, but I don't have time to do that yet. It takes less time to just go into your studio, write that video's name right, and I have provided the name to you, and it's also your most popular video on your channel, so you have to find it pretty easily. Just go after ranking, pick the video right, and you show it right. It's super easy. It's less than a minute work doing that thing. Instead, he records a video that doesn't actually disprove his case, and that takes a lot longer time. Uploads that, so that's like a several minute work. That takes. I'm not saying that it takes a huge amount of time, but it clearly takes longer time than what you could have done to disprove me, right? And again, why are you taking something that takes a lot more time to do? It's 10 times long time to do, right? And it's and that's actually disprove me logically, right? So it is not a good way to argue, right? Because even if I'm wrong in that case, even if my first argument here that he's lying about the monetization, even if I'm wrong about that, and again, I have 19 at least more argument against him, right? So I'm I just want to go top 1, top 2, yeah. So even if he disproves me in the first one, I'm gonna go to the next one. So, but even if he would even if I'm, I'll say, if I'm wrong, just disprove me. Why are you spending this time not doing it? It's also gonna help you. Again, even if I was wrong, which clearly I wasn't, but even if I was wrong, it's faster for him to just disprove me instead of beating around. It doesn't make any sense. It's no logical standpoint should you do what he did, right? It's a horrible way to argue. It just doesn't make you look good. It makes everyone looks around it, makes you look like you're a liar, right? Everyone that sees the actual facts here and how you're trying to refuse to answer the actual question, you're always going to be. It's kind of if you're always trying to move the goalpost, right? When someone asks you a direct question, you're like, I'm answering these things that it looks like you can't answer the question, right? And I want to segue that again. I like the word segue here. I want to segue into one last thing, though, on both the whole controversial that we call it itself, which I think is very interesting. And that's that. So I want to, throw it out here, right, for the last just a bit here. It doesn't have anything to do with the actual, anti-fragility. So, but I want to say it still, though. Isn't it suspicious that he goes and deletes these videos? If you argue from, he just could handle them or deleted them, so on, and suspicious of YouTube, even though his channel is actually illegal anyway. But if you ignore that and say that, isn't it suspicious, instead of getting home, and he's like, he could then take a photo, or actually, look at it like this. Before he deleted his videos, which I claimed he was lying about, right? Why wouldn't he first disprove me? Yeah, he could have taken an image, right, from that video before he deleted it, and using that thing to, of course, disprove me. But he didn't. He just deleted it, on his live stream, but not actually showing how it looked, right? That seems so incredibly suspicious to me. I was like, you could have done that. You could have deleted it anyway, and also, of course, disproven me, right? You could have done that. Of course, again, I have a lot more arguments against you and on your other lies, but you could at least have proven that lie. He's in his studio, right, deleting the videos, right? You go into the studio, does a freaking 2.5 hour live stream about this video, basically, right? And he still doesn't use that time to disprove me. The only thing he does is he takes out other videos, again, a few other videos, and shows their screen. It's like, why are you showing a few other videos? Yet again, beating around the bush, right? So that's a little bit, really not how you win an argument. This is like, man, it's just, again, Jesus Christ, it looks so suspicious. Again, I can still be wrong, right? But I'm like 99% sure that he lied about that thing, because otherwise, why would he spend so much effort working on it? And I have to say the thing too, then, that maybe he actually did delete videos because he couldn't disprove it, right? And he was like, I delete the evidence, maybe that's the reason why, right? There could be an extra reason why. I would explain, and I'm saying that not just to be like, haha, I got you, but also to be like, as we're talking here about Antifragility, right? We're talking about this, it's so easy for me to make him, remove all his channel, that he just can't handle any criticism. Could it also be that he can't handle that, but it also is actually that he was lying about, he wanted to remove the evidence, right? So it could also be that would make him a little less against Antifragile. That's why I had to say too, right? From the psychological aspect, he might just be, lying and having to try to hide his lie. So it could also still be that. So that's why I want to point it out too, though, because that would interfere a bit, right, with the actual standpoint that we have. That has to be said, right? It has to be said. And it's, and that's kind of how I think about the stuff, right? So maybe I sound super mean, because I'm like, this guy, but at the same time, I don't want to be that mean. It's more like, but if he's lying about that thing, it's actually less than Antifragile, because it means that this is happening. So yeah, like, there is some factors that we don't know for certain, right? In the topic, but either way, though, of course, he is, he's wrong, though, right? I mean, that's really how it is. Either way, though, he's wrong. Like that's the, I guess, from my standpoint, from like a, debate fighting standpoint, right? Either way, it's like you're wrong, you're evil, lesser to evil. Either you're like, this thing, or you're this thing. In either case, he's still in the wrong, right? Either he's lying about this stuff, or so it's like, lie or lie. It's like, pick your lie a little bit, right? A little bit like that. And on that point, I want to say this thing, though, just because he commented so much about me, right? And I had to say this thing, and I mentioned earlier that, of course, his channel is illegal, right? And he even said in his own video, which is really stupid, right? Because he's saying that, as I mentioned again, he's like, I have to remove this stuff, because otherwise YouTube can remove my channel. And then he says again that YouTube already removed his previous channel, right? In the same video, right? And that means that YouTube have him saying that he is cheating the system, because you're not allowed to have a new channel if they, you remove your channel. And he clearly lost his previous channel, on legal, grounds, and they were right? They were absolutely right deleting his previous channel. And that means that he is endangering himself, right, by admitting that, right? So it's really strange. I mentioned that it's really strange. Like, what's the point then, right? You're breaking the law anyway. So I have to say that again. And also this thing then, right? Because this has nothing to do with it, so I might have to say it because I want to point out here as an argument. So what I want to point out, right, he still has this illegal Let's Watch videos, right? They are redirection. So, first of all, the thumbnail here is spam, not allowed on YouTube. You can't redirect and so on, right? And it's unlisted. And you can see it here on the different, YouTube types of service. You're not allowed to have these kind of videos. And what I mean is that he's using the thing he was doing for years, right, to avoid, getting, the comments after him. So he would upload like a short clip saying, hey guys, I made a reaction, and reaction in this kind of, and then he would have a link below, right, in the description that takes the user from YouTube to another like illegal site that, hosts his illegal content, right? So that's breaking several rules and laws. So you're still, being a pirate, right? You're still supporting people to go somewhere else and, watching illegal anime, right? So you're still in the wrong. It's like you're in the wrong from like a legal standpoint. You absolutely are, and you're on the level of, Susilu, right? Because she also sent people to her channel. It's the exact same thing, man. It's the exact same level as she does. He has her own channel, right, with narrative and so on. He's doing the exact same thing. He's redirecting people to somewhere else so they can watch the full anime. He's doing the exact same thing. He's exactly like her in that sense, right? It's ridiculous. But and he's, you know, as I call him out, hypocrite, right, for that whole thing, for several things. But that's hypocrite. That's one thing. So that's of course breaking the general, you know, law of the of the countries, yeah. But it's also breaking YouTube terms of service, because in YouTube you aren't allowed to make like a spam, you know, video where you say that, you know, go to my video. It's 1 minute long, but the title is like, you know, full episode. Title is like, you know, episode Konosuba episode 3 reaction. It's like, you know, and over here it's like redirect. Yeah, it's like, you know, so he gets that, you know, SOE, search engine optimization thing, right? So when you search for I want to watch a Konosuba reaction, right, you're gonna find his video and you click on his video. It's actually, you know, it's misleading content, because you are gonna think that I'm gonna watch this video, right, on YouTube. I wanna see this guy reacting to Konosuba, but he actually, it's like a short video. He's like, press my illegal link down here. Clearly wrong on the YouTube terms of service, and he has had this thing being reported before. Right? If you look at this image here, for example, he had community guideline strikes for breaking YouTube terms of service. And again, then if you look at his channel, what is still left on the channel, he still has a lot of these kind of illegal videos which break YouTube terms of service. So even if he wouldn't break like the general, you know, copyright laws, he's still breaking the YouTube system laws, and he should, in that sense, he should also be removed from the channel. And it's so ridiculous that someone makes like a really long video, you know, crying about, oh, this, and I have changed, I never do it again, but he hasn't removed this clearly illegal stuff on his channel. It's just ridiculous. It's so easy to point out that, but this stuff is also illegal, and it's not just, I mean, and again, it's illegal in both the copyright laws and there is, you know, against YouTube's law, you know, systems, right? So it's like double it, right? It's actually worse than uploading full reactions to YouTube. If you do a full episode on YouTube, then you're breaking, you know, the general law of your country. You're breaking the copyright law, yeah. But he is doing a redirection is breaking the law and breaking YouTube. So it's like double is worse. It actually is worse. Yeah, it actually is worse. A redirection is worse because you're still doing the full, you know, content shit, right? And you're also then misleading thumbnail, misleading title, spam, and you know, you're still doing all that, you know, deceptive things you're not allowed to do on YouTube. And he really should. He had several, you know, community issues over the years, right? And it's very easy to find because he's like stupid enough to post them on Twitter. It's like, someone reported me again for the 5th time. It's like, why are you tweeting this thing? They are clearly right. You're clearly wrong. Like, you're clearly breaking the law. You're still clearly doing it. And the people are reporting you for breaking it. I mean, I'm saying I haven't done that, but I'm like, man, I'm not surprised people are doing it, but you're clearly doing it. It's like, Jesus Christ. It's a, and it comes back, right, to, this is a kind of weird point, but how inconsistent YouTube is, right? People can upload, you know, like a timer reaction only, which is if you only have the timer reaction to an anime, but you just show the anime, so it's not even a fair use question, it's just you with a timer, right? That can get removed with a copyright strike, happens every day. And this guy is like breaking YouTube rules and, you know, the copyright. It's like, Jesus Christ, man. And then it's still there on your channel. It's still there on the channel. This guy is still acting like he has changed, but he hasn't in that sense. He has the shit on his channel. That's clearly illegal, and he should know that. And he pretend it's just ridiculous. So I want to say that too, right? Because it's so see what I mean here too. We weren't even getting further than the first argument, right? The first argument about monetization. That was the first lie I was talking about Twitter, right? And I had, for example, the argument about his illegal redirection stuff, right? That was the next. That was like one of the other 20 plus, you know, arguments we're gonna have, right? And we're not even getting that far because you couldn't even handle the first thing, antifragility, right? And as I talk about it, people can't handle critique, right? Because if you analyze this person, you have to assume, right? Again, that is a person that no one ever critiques, right? And the thing is that's so funny to them, as I mentioned, of course, right? Because people he's talking to, these other YouTubers, right? They are just enabling him, right? And I mentioned earlier too, but that's kind of worse, right? I'll say it again because that's kind of worse than if someone is doing something wrong and you're not doing anything about it. That's not good either. But you're like, whatever, like you're ignoring it. You know, it's not the best, but you know. But if you're enabling it, you're saying that you're telling him that he's doing the good thing, right? Which is worse. Yeah, it makes it even worse. That's That's having someone with an issue, and instead of critiquing them when they do something wrong, you tell them they do something good when they do something wrong. And it's like, it makes it worse, right? It makes it worse. So, and of course, instead of actually then admitting that they are enabling him, denying. So it comes back to that, right? But I do, again, I talked about it with my ex, I think that the deniability comes from that he, you're trying to avoid, being fragile. You're trying to avoid that. It's easier not to discuss it, and it's not to think about it or accept that you were wrong, right? Because then you have to be actually combating it, right? So he said, "I thought about that, yeah." But I felt I had to say that thing. I'm not interested in attacking these kind of people. I'm not, right? I'm more interested in talking about the mentality of it. But when we do this video here, it is so goddamn easy to find that you're still doing the wrong stuff. And this still on your channel. You should be removed from YouTube in that sense, right? You should, right? I'm not gonna go there and report this person, but it's easy to do, right? It's easy to prove that this person still is breaking the YouTube rules and the illegal stuff, right? It's easy to prove it. It's just Christ, people. Can you be so blind? Yeah, that sounds right. I feel that. And it's all true, right? And this is all facts. I'm saying that this is all here, and that's, we haven't even gotten to this point, right? It's just, oh man. And I'll say one last thing about the topic too, about this issue, about the lies, right? In the current state, he has, I think, 1.7 million views, okay? And if you go into his channel and you look at his, you go from like his videos, right, and you calculate his number of visible views, it's less than like a million, maybe around there. I did like a fast math thing. So basically, he has like 710,000 views, right, that are hidden on his channel. And when you look at his playlist and you look at the different stuff that he deleted, it's actually that a lot of videos are privated or unlisted, right? So many videos that he actually has on the channel that gives him that view count is actually private videos. And we have to assume, right, from his general suspicion that he probably actually privatized these bigger videos, like better videos. They're probably actually still on the channel. He actually didn't delete them, he probably just privatized them. I might be wrong, but again, right, it's very, very suspicious. Why do you have, it's almost like a million views that your channel shouldn't have, right? Yeah, it's like, why? And then again, a lot of videos on the channel are privatized. They aren't actually removed. I'm not, get not me wrong here. I'm not saying he didn't remove a lot of videos. He probably removed like 300 whatever videos, right? But it still is like 50 or so left that are privatized, and other 50 are unlisted. Like, what is about that? Why can't you move on, right? And again, deniability. You haven't moved on. This person doesn't move on, right? And as I keep talking about here, I'm not trying to make this person be, oh, you're wrong, right? Even though it is true. But I am talking about thing because it, again, it exemplifies the issue of anti-fragility, right? If you were a HYDRA, like I am, right? I like being the HYDRA, you would have deleted everything. You would have deleted this other stuff too. You wouldn't hid away about, a few other videos because you can't really delete them, right? You wouldn't hid away those redirection, which is clearly breaking a lot of issues, yeah. You wouldn't unlist them. You would actually remove them, right? So you're kind of trying to keep the cake. You're trying to eat the cake and have it too, right? Because you can't actually handle to regrow your body, right? You can't really do it. It's a weird thing, and that's my conclusion, right? Why else would he? Because I saw one of his tweets from a few years ago when he was so happy that this Black Butler video had passed like 3,000 views, something like that, right? And he was so proud of that, even though it's clearly was breaking the law and it was really him doing it, right? He's not doing shit there, yeah. What to be proud about? And that's one thing too, for that matter. Most of his crying, right, isn't to it because he actually is deleting his stuff. I would say most of his crying in the video, if I can analyze his actual behavior there, is because he's realizing, as I say in the video, that people don't actually care about his opinion. All his views are false, right? All his views are him just uploading full anime, and 95% of people that saw those animes actually didn't care about him. They were just pirating anime, right? So he realizing finally that no one actually, cared about him. And I'm gonna say no one. I mean, yes, he has a few fans, like the people in stream. So of course, he has a few fans. It's like 1 in 1,000, right? So it's a few fans, which is proven by Macedonia. But he doesn't actually have that big of a fan, right? So most of the views, of course, are from his illegal content, right? And he realized that shit, my views doesn't actually have that valuable, or whatever, right? So and likes and so on, yeah. So it's kind of like that, right? And that's kind of what I talk about on this channel for that matter. Right? Talk about the long tail, like we did in the last video. Long tail is like when you do something and you hope it's gonna, keep giving you revenue or whatever, right? In the long run, right? So when I do these videos here, right, I try to be factual. I try to be, giving you an interesting, sociologically effects, right? Trying to discuss human behavior, or but also in pop culture, like gaming and so on. But trying to give you, an opinion, right, that I feel is going to have value in 10 years from now or 20 years from now, right? And maybe everyone's going to hate me now because of course I'm going at this guy, right? But hopefully, eventually, someone is going to watch the video and be like, what he's saying makes perfect sense. This guy is clearly anti-fragile, and his problem is probably that he never got critiqued before, because any amount of critique now crushed him completely immediately, right? That's kind of my conclusion, yeah. So I think that's a long tail, right? And what that means, I guess, in like likes and so on, in a YouTube sense, is that if this video, let's say, gets like 5 likes, okay, 5 likes, yeah. I'm gonna assume that those 5 likes are people that actually like the video, right? And what I mean is that when you do this, let's say it's, full anime, illegal stuff, he does, right? He gets like 500 likes, right, on his, clearly breaking the law video. How many of those likes are actually valid for enjoying you as a person, right? They're liking the video because you're giving them illegal anime, right? That's what they like the video, right? And that's what he was crying mainly out. So he's realizing that the views and even the likes then aren't actually corresponding to people actually liking you, right? They're supposed to be liking the anime. So like those likes has no value for him, right? He can't be sure that anyone actually liked the video sincerely. I'm not saying that no one did, of course someone did. Maybe like 50 were sincere, right? But the other 450 are all false, right? So, and he should know that, right? He should know the percentage of actual sincere likes and views, right? And that's a big issue, right? And that's why he's like, and that's what I would say is, man, yeah, like, why else? That is a true sadness comes from, right? Understanding that shit, I'm actually not that valuable in that sense, right? Where, again, if this video gets like 5 likes, I'm gonna assume that that's like 100%. I mean, yeah, in my kind of long tail videos here, right? I will assume that anyone that actually liked this video actually likes the video, right? Yeah, like I don't think this video will get any, random likes because someone did this stuff, right? I think that everyone that's gonna like this video is gonna be because they actually like what I'm saying, right? So I have like 100%, whoa, awesome. But unfortunately, of course, I don't get that many likes in general, right? Because I'm very unknown and I don't do any illegal stuff, right? So it's like, yeah, so of course I don't get that many, but at least if I get like 1-2 likes, I know that people are being truthful, right? And hopefully one day then, of course, I have a long tail. Hopefully one day I have a lot more subscribers, right? That people will go back and look at my older videos and then they will like them and so on. But then at least I know that people are probably liking the videos because what I am saying, right? Not because of what, what I am, showing or stealing or whatever, right? I actually know it's a genuine like, right? And that, but then, yeah, that's what he is, of course. I think the sadness comes from realizing that shit. He spent like 7-8 years doing that stuff, and he has a question, right? He has to question what it means, right? And of course, also in that sense, it wasn't truly that I made him cry, but it's like I started the critique that made him actually change, right? And it's very interesting that he still would be in denial of that, and I think that's very unhealthy. Like I said again, but it would be so much healthy for him, right? To not just talk to me and say, yeah, you were right, but actually at least in the video admit that, yeah, this guy called me out and he's right, so I'm finally gonna do this shit. Instead of being like, he called me out, but I'm not gonna listen to him, even though I'm doing what he said. It's like, what? Why are you still denying it? Everyone that sees the video sees that you're still in denial, right? It doesn't make any sense. Unless, of course, it's to protect your own fragile ego, right? You have to protect that fragile ego. That fragile male ego. But truly, he exemplifies that. And it's, man, this video, of course, sounds super mean now. But it's a great example of that. Jesus Christ. People gonna hate the video, right? But it's true. It's true how good of an example he is for exactly this anti-fragility. The lack of that in him, right? The lack of being able to take critique and grow and so on. So lastly here, I want to give you a few other points, okay, about anti-fragility in my own life. Like good, always use yourself as an example. That's a great way to argue. That's a great way to argue. but okay, so one thing, right? Last year, for example, someone threatened me, like for life, and also 3 years ago. But in both these cases, it threatened me in a business-like situation, right? So they were like, I'm gonna do this, and they were screaming, and you get the point of this, yeah, that kind of thing. And you know, so they threatened me, you know, ruin this and this and this and this thing, but they didn't just threaten me with like a gun, right? In that sense. And what had happened to me, and I've been pondering about this for several years, especially like 3 years ago when another guy threatened me in a similar situation. I am like dead inside that. I'm just like, okay, are you gonna fight me? I just provoked him, like, oh, you're gonna fight me? Okay, yeah. I'm just like, yeah, okay, are you gonna kill me? Oh, you have no weapon. Okay, I can defeat you easily. And I think the reason why is because I have a lot of experience when it comes to fighting people, right? I have a lot of competitive experience and I have a lot of street fight experience, right? And you know, like this thing here right now. But I've been stabbed in my eye 3 times. I have scars to there. I used to have a lot big. I used to have this big scar here, right? I used to have this big red like dot here, and that was from someone knife stabbed me in just next to my eye there. I'm almost blind on one eye because I got knife stabbed 3 times in that eye, so I can barely see anything. And then I have like a scar here because I broke my the eyebrow. I got hit here once, you know, blunt force. So I had a huge thing here, and I have a scar here as well under my beard. Has like a scar coming here that go up here. It's I got it as a kid, so it doesn't show that much anymore. But I got a knife cut there as well. Then I've been stabbed here in the shoulder, so I have like a scar here. Yeah, it's like a little bit tree. Yeah, I have a lot of scars. I scar here. I have broken the arm, and arm broken. I broken my nose. Got my nose punched in. Yeah. What happened more? That is like more severe. I mean, usually, you know, a lot of trauma, right? A lot of physical trauma, but I'm thinking something else was big. I got my shoulder dislocated. Yeah, my shoulder pulled out. I had my knee. Okay, yeah, that's true. I got my knee kicked off. Yeah, that's true. I got my knee. Broke my knee. I kicked my knee, so I broke that thing. I got my heel, Achilles heel, cut open by myself though when I'm trading. So I got my Achilles heel. I have a huge scar on my Achilles heel, like the whole heel. It's like cut up because I got a huge knife wound on my Achilles heel. Or also my pinky toe. It's like cut in 2, so I have that thing as well. So yeah, I can sit there for like the list is long. The list is long. And my basic point that is, when you talk about antifragility, right? You talk about as an immune system is a good example, right? If you get sick, you get stronger if you don't die from it, right? What doesn't defeat you makes you stronger, right? What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Kind of like a super saiyan, right? Like a saiyan in Dragon Ball. If you don't die near that experience, makes you stronger, yeah. And why I say that then is because I'm not saying to experience my life of having all this badness and having people, you know, stab you, cut you, and shit like that, but when people are threatening me in this like business-like environment, right? I don't feel shit about that. I'm just like, okay, that's your point. What's the logical point then, man? It's like, I don't feel shit over that, yeah. And I think that is a good evidence of why antifragility is important, right? Because when someone threatens me with like, I'm gonna ruin your career, I'm like, yeah, okay, what? Okay, that doesn't really matter to me. I mean, yeah, okay, it's threatening, but and they're trying to, you know, provoke you, make you angry or sad, or they're trying to get you to be emotional. I'm just like, I don't know, man. I don't really feel anything because you sit standing there, you're screaming at me, and I'm just like, yeah, okay. Do you have like a weapon in your hand? No, you don't. So I'm not really afraid of you, right? So I don't get intimidated when people are trying to, you know, business fear me. I'm just like, man, I have been in a lot of fights in real life. That's way scarier. It's way scarier than some random guy screaming at me with random this, yeah. And I think I take that into the randomness of Twitter, right? When anyone writes to me on Reddit, Twitter, Facebook, that doesn't faze me for a second, right? I'm not fazed by freaking internet, yeah. I'm just like, internet, you turn it off and go away from it, yeah. I think that, and again, I say it right, not with this guy, but generally, right? That's why are people so freaking emotional over some tweet something, right? I am not, because I think a lot of people, you know, I was bullied all the time, right? And growing up as a kid, I was bullied, you know, my whole life, so right, constantly, right? And so on, right? And I've been all this other physical, you know, trauma and so on. Like, why would I think care about some random guy on Twitter, right? And I really mean that. That is a weird thing too. I think that you know, in myself, then I'm like the furthest away, right, from antifragility. I don't face it at all. Like, and I really mean that. A lot of people are probably gonna hate me because I'm calling out this guy, right? And you write in a comment, I'm just gonna laugh at it. I mean, I actually mean that. when someone writes a comment to me saying that you're wrong, you're a fat, this guy is awesome, I'm just like, simp. I'm just laughing at it. This is gonna make me sad. It's gonna make me happy. And I stand by saying that, yeah. Like, I don't get, because, of course, real critique makes me think about it and I question it, so on. But anyone just calling me names on the internet, whatever, that's I'm laughing at it. Yeah, I feel nothing whatsoever over that. It doesn't faze me for a second. And I truly mean that. It doesn't faze me. Funny enough, I guess, critique that I like, though, faze me as positive, though. So I guess it's kind of weird. But it's kind of like that, right? Because when someone critiques you, in most cases, right, it is invalid. And I don't, because most people are on internet, yeah, because people are like, fat so, and you're ugly, or you're a woman, or something. Yeah, that is most internet, right? And then all this, or and this stuff, it doesn't really matter, right? It doesn't really matter. In real life, though, it's a big difference, right? But in internet, it's so much like that for that. And and this is of course proven with many research, that most people are critiquing your internet. And I mean critiquing as in effing, yeah, that kind of critique on internet, right? It's not really so valid, because that those people probably haven't listened to your video, right? Or whatever you've done. For example, if this video gets a lot of those comments, I can definitely assume, and I said by saying that those people that are doing those comments probably haven't seen the video, right? They've seen the title, they've seen like the thumbnail or whatever, and they maybe have seen the first minute at best. They haven't actually seen the argument that's being presented, right? And so that. So you're like, well, this guy probably isn't that way. That's the truth, right? Yeah. Where if someone is saying, this is a great video, I like your point about X or Y, they've actually probably seen the whole video, or at least a part of the video, and actually analyze what you're saying, right? So that is kind of why I have to say, not really because I'm just like, I am blind to all the haters and I only like the people. I don't think that's why. I think it's because for like for an incredibly large large likelihood of that is that people that like your videos actually watch the video, right? People that dislike your video actually didn't watch the video. You kind of know that, so you kind of immediately like, well, why should that critique there isn't probably very valid. It probably isn't a very good critique, because they probably are just angry at you because the topic mattered at hand, right? So that's one thing, right? And it's the same thing with like Reddit or Facebook or whatever, right? If you write this like long Reddit post and someone comes in and be like, F you, and it's the only thing they write, they very unlikely actually read your stuff, right? However, though, if they're like F you and then they write their own like huge counter argument, yeah, of course, then you take it seriously, right? But unfortunately, most people don't, and it's just kind of like a very, very shallow critique, right, at best, right? So again, that's probably why you shouldn't care that much too. Generally, mental health, why would you care about that? Yeah, they clearly haven't took the effort to actually critique you. And as again, I would love people critiquing this video, as long as you critique it constructively, right? You can come with whatever names you want, but watch the whole video and go over what I'm actually saying, right? And actually analyze what I'm saying and offer actual non-fallacy counterpoints. And I would love that, because clearly I might be wrong about something. In this case, I probably aren't, because I think it's a cut and dry case where the guy is so incredibly guilty, and you can still find on his channel that he's doing illegal stuff. So it's very easy to prove that he's guilty, right? Because he still is guilty for doing illegal stuff. So it's like, yeah, he still is doing bad stuff. So it's easy to prove that he's wrong, right? But in other case, I might be wrong, right? And I strive to improve. I am obsessed, right, with getting stronger and smarter. What happens to me? So I want people to disprove me. If you can actually disprove me and say that this guy isn't anti-fragile, or lacks antifragility, he's not fragile. You say that, but it's like he doesn't lack that. He actually is this guy, and I will explain to you why and so on. That would be awesome, right? And give me more, actual feedback, and then I can, because again, I did this video, and this video is probably like an hour long after I edited. But before doing this video, I talked to like 10 people. This is the video. We discussed this thing. I talked to, like I mentioned, a doctor in a similar field of this antifragility. Talked to her, and we were discussing, why would someone do this? Why would someone care about like a few tweets, from a known person on Twitter? Why is it so vastly effective for them? Why is it super effective? stealing their heart, Persona 5 style, yeah, entering and stealing their evil heart. It's like, why was it so effective? Kind of like, why did it happen, right? So we discussed that, and it's interesting, right? It's very interesting. It's very interesting from a professional standpoint. For me, it's very interesting, right? I like talking about that, why people are acting like they are and so on. Right? Behavioral economy is my thing, right? And it's just like, this is too good to not talk about. I know. And I feel like a lot of people are gonna hate this, right? I say it all the time, but I mean, surely they are, because it's like, oh, he's my best YouTuber. Of course, people can do that. But I feel this is a too good opportunity when this is exemplifying something that I am very worried about. Again, Jonathan Haidt, read the book, right? This thing is so exemplifying what I am so afraid of, right? When it comes to society today, people are being so cuddled, right? Because when I grew up as a kid, right, if someone, said the stuff I did on Twitter, like, you're a hypocrite. The worst thing I said was like, you're a hypocrite. Like, that's the worst word. I would be like, hypocrite? Am I? I'll be like, well, maybe I am, yeah. That wouldn't really faze me, right? When I was like a 5-year-old, people were like, throwing rocks to my head or, shit that's calling me, yeah. I would be like, no, I'm not really fazed by you calling me a hypocrite. It's like kind of the lowest amount of, shit I've had today. It doesn't really faze me, yeah. It feels like that to me is a huge thing, right? Like, why would you be so afraid of that, right? It's the same thing if that's thinking like my muscles, no, but like it's the same thing like that, right? If someone is like, yeah, you should add, your traps, something like you should build up this shit, right? Yeah, like for example when I broke my leg, soccer, I was 17, I broke my leg. I had to improve my leg strength again, my balance in one of my legs, and I went to this professor. I know a lot of the Olympian rowing people, so I went to the trainer. He's like Olympian medalist in rowing, and I asked him, like, okay, I broke my leg. He wasn't my trainer, right? But I asked this guy, like, you're Olympian, blah blah. How do I improve my leg strength again after breaking my twisted ankle and so on? How do I improve it? He's like, do this stuff, okay. And I was like, what are you doing? I'm doing this stuff. He's like, no, that's stupid. Do this stuff instead. It's more effective. I was like, are you calling me weak? You calling me a muscle bad? I was like, yeah, maybe that makes sense. Yeah. And he was like, you're an idiot. You're doing this stuff. This is ineffective, right? You can improve your technique, blah blah, this stuff. So I went to him. Of course, I went to him, I guess, but still, though, right? He was calling me F, Y, and C. He actually yelled at me once from his class. But yeah, so he was like pretty mean, right? Yeah, he was pretty mean. It's like a mean censor, right? But that gave me like, okay, he's still right though. Yeah, he's still right. So I'm gonna listen to him, right? And I'm like questioning why is he calling me this thing? Because he's also giving me, valid critique, right? When he's saying that. However, though, to point out again here, I was very, very humble in the sense I wrote. I was like, you are wrong. So this reason, I didn't say any bad words. I didn't say any, I didn't call him. I didn't say any names. The only thing I said was, you're a hypocrite. That was the only name calling I did, right? And, so I was very nice, right? And that'll be my last point too, though, when it comes to arguing, that'll be the last point here if anyone cares about that stuff, right? If you're gonna defeat someone in an argument, the best way is on the internet as well, right? Is actually to be nice, right? That's the best way. And I mean nice as in nice wording, right? Because if someone is like, F you, this or this, yeah, you can't ignore them, right? If someone's like, no, this claim doesn't make any sense. Like, that actually is more effective because you're like, that sounds like he actually considered what he's saying, right? And I think when I studied this stuff, right, at grad school, one of my classmates, he talked a lot about this, like, insulting people, insulting your friends or your mother and so on, right? So he did a research study about, like, insults. And actually, I wrote a flaming paper. One of my best friends, we wrote a paper about flaming, like, oh my god, it's like 14 years ago, 30 years ago, we wrote a paper about flaming. So I don't know my idea. But this other friend of mine, he's similar degree to me. He in grad school, he wrote this paper and studied insults, like, on the internet, but generally on people, right? And his conclusion, I talk about this interesting thing, is that the worst thing someone can do is like their mom, when it's like a 15-year-old boy, and he's gonna insult his mother, right? The worst thing isn't to be like, F you, mom, and this shit, and damn it, door, and so on. That's not the worst thing to do to your mother. And I'm not talking about, words. I'm not talking about the wording. It's language here, right? The language, yeah. Some dirty minds after the problem. No, but don't, language, it's talking language now, yeah. The worst you can do, language-wise, is to call your mom like, you're an idiot, mom, and then you leave something. That's worse. then calling him all, effing shit and this and you and that. Yeah, that's actually more effective, because your mother, right? She probably heard your outburst every now and then and so on, right? So if someone actually, when someone is like, you are an idiot for this reason, yeah, that's stupid, yeah, that's more hurtful usually to most people, because it means, and his paper shows it, and I agree with it completely. It makes sense, right? Because the other stuff you kind of ignore, but if someone is like, that was really stupid of you, you're an idiot, it's like, that actually means more to you, because it sounds like they actually are truly believing that. So when the 15-year-old boy is like, Mom, that is actually really stupid, that means that she's actually gonna take that feedback, like, how much stupid, then she actually will be more emotionally affected by that, right? And mentally affected by that. But if you call her like F and this thing, right? You're a bit, that will be more like, yeah, honey, go to your room, you can't play any games tonight, you're getting the food, makes mother angry, but she won't actually be affected by it, right? Hopefully I didn't create a monster now. But it's very true, right? I think in my last point, then again, going back to the Twitter thing, as I am very, just factual, I'm just like, what's the claim? No. Don't lie about it. Show us the claim. What you're saying doesn't make any sense. I'm not saying any bad words. I'm just being very factual. I'm just being very driven by. You can't move the goalpost, right? Move back to the point. Don't try to try to trick me with some bullshit. Don't be dishonest. Where's your point, right? Yeah. So I'm talking about dishonest debate thing. Yeah. He's trying to do a dishonest debate thing. I'm for that shit. What is the proof, right? Yeah. And I'm trying to just move back to the actual topic at hand, right? And by doing that. And doing it in a very, friendly, and a very, in a sense that I'm friendly in the language, right? I'm just doing the language as proper as I can, like this thing, right? Without saying any bad words. Of course, that means that the effect is also probably stronger, right? And also then again, goes back to the antifragility. There's a very hard critique on you. I'm critiquing you in the sense that you actually listen to the critique, and if you can take it or not depends on your antifragility, right? So. That's the point. I've been a little all over the place, but I found that as this guy is calling me out for like 3 hours almost, right? I mean, Jesus Christ, man. But still doing it in a deniable way. He's calling me out, but without giving effort to it, and he's still trying to deny what happened. It's just so weird, right? I was like, man, I have to call this shit out, man. Can't just lie about stuff like that, yeah. And again, his first video, which I commented, right, and 400 people were supporting, everything in the video was a lie, right, basically. Everything was a lie in the video, more or less. And the only difference is that after I called him out, then partially of it was true. Because then he finally removed his stuff, right? So before, when he made the video and claiming he had cleaned up his channel and so on, no, you haven't. You still have like 700 videos of not cleaning up, and it takes like a few minutes to do it. And also then the other thing that claiming that you don't care about the views, why would you then live stream it? I understand that's a big thing, I understand. But at the same time, it's like, if you didn't care about views, you would just do it, right? If you actually didn't care, you would do it. You wouldn't talk about Twitter, you would do it. You wouldn't ask these other YouTubers to, praise you and enable your behavior. You wouldn't do that. You actually care about it. And again, that is also in denial, right? I don't care about views, because I'm doing these really long talks here where I'm trying to analyze stuff that I know very few people care about, right? As I talked about in the last video, I am aiming at that 1% critical people in the long tail, right? I'm not trying to aim for anyone else. I hope people will accept it anyway, but that is not caring about views. And again, as the only video, is that like an excuse